Hello and welcome to Creature Club, a show where we, your delightful hosts, walk through the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual. I, Tim, am joined by my fellow co-host, Mikey.
That's me.
That's him over there. And Daniel occasionally joins us. My cat's making a noise. Daniel occasionally joins us. And he's been busy.
Yeah, you kind of really, people were like, I wonder if Dan's going to be in this episode. And you said, and Daniel is not here today. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's just another one of those Mikey and Tim episodes where it's kind of off the rails. We're kind of let off the leash a bit. We're allowed to walk all around the park, kick back. It's
relax
it's
while walking and
yeah, it's gonna be bonkers, guys. We're gonna kick back and walk. Even this intro is bonkers.
It sure is. It's gonna be a trademarked episode because it's TM, because it's Tim and Mikey. Although that's not alphabetical, so MT. It's an empty episode. This episode is going to be completely empty of content.
Completely empty, yeah.
Empty of content.
It's almost going to be a very cold episode. Isn't it, Tim?
It certainly is, Mikey. That was an excellent segue. Today's episode is going to be about the Ice Devil, or the Gelugon, as they're known in the Anti-Devil March.
So cultured,
right? Gelugon, yeah. Or Gelugon. Just so we can mangle every single name we come across. The Gelugon.
Gelugon. But yeah, no, the Gelugon, or the Ice Devil, for people at home, looks like a... oh crap, I'm on Demons right now. Let me just flip through a couple pages. Yeah, I don't have my book with me, so I'm using my a PDF that I have that I legitimately bought with my own money. But it looks like kind of a bug with a spear, like a bipedal kind of insect man.
Insectoid, like Jeff Goldblum's The Fly, if he made it all the way to human fly mode.
Yes, Jeff Goldblum's The Fly. He made that film himself with his own money.
He made it in his own self.
Yeah, but that's true. No, very a good little touchstone for that. But he's blue because he's kind of bright whitish blue.
He's kind of a sky blue or like an icy blue. Yeah,
sky blue or red foo. Two people in the audience will get that reference.
Our audience of two.
Yeah, but he's an icy devil bug creature, which is actually kind of strange. Like I don't know why they made the Ice Devil a bug devil as well. They kind of did
classically insects don't survive very well in the cold. Like over here where I am at the moment, we have a little bit of a fly problem. We have some fruit flies, and if one of them gets into the fridge, they just go down to the bottom and die, like at the door. It's so strange. Like they are desperate to like escape the cold, and now they have the insect Ice Devil as a representation of ice. I think that there are very, very few creatures like invertebrates or vertebrates that can survive freezing temperatures, so it's a bizarre choice, all right.
It's been like a bug creature since it's first appeared in first edition D&D.
Is another first edition boy?
It's another one of those kind of day one devils guys,
Sweet.
But yeah, it's been an insect looking guy forever, I guess, since it's been in the game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Fair enough. I wonder if he's had any variations through like 4th edition and stuff, because he comes with quite an interesting array of stuff that we're going to be diving into in a minute. I couldn't find any real world history about ice devils, but because he's the kind of insecty devil, I just looked up a bunch of insects that have devil in their names. So there's the devil's coach horse, which actually kind of resembles a black version of what you would presume this ice devil is based on, because he has the mandibles, he has the big abdomen, and he has, well, I suppose he has 6 legs, but that's an insect. Yeah.
Yeah, it does actually kind of look like it.
Right? It's kind of cool. Like, there's 1 or 2 where he's like rearing his butt up.
Yeah.
To, I say probably strike something, but I don't know if he has a stinger or anything. So yeah, that's a possibility for inspiration. So there's also this guy. There's the Devil's Darning Needle, or the 2-striped walking stick, which is a pretty gruesome looking guy, which he could also have been based on, now that I'm looking at him, with the big old stretchy abdomen. He's actually maybe a bit more suited.
Yeah.
Because he has a kind of slimline body. He's kind of aerodynamic.
It can appear as the same color as well. Like, it seems to be, I see a couple of them here that are, he's like sky blue kind of color. So you can kind of, just has wings as well. It's like, is that a little dragonfly or something? Or
the Devil's Darning Needle?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it is a stick insect, so I'm not perfectly sure.
Is it a stick insect? Well, I looked it up here and it looks like a dragonfly.
Well, the name is the 2-striped walking stick. It's the Devil's Darning Needle is kind of an alternate name for it, or the Devil's Riding Horse. Apparently, now I'm looking at the the page you got again.
That's a 2-striped walking stick. 2-stripe walking stick. Let's have a look here.
Anismorpha buprestoides.
Oh, this is a completely different thing altogether.
Oh yeah.
Devil's Darning Needle is when I looked it up online, it's a dragonfly.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There's another one then. There's a Devil's Darning Needle that also refers to a dragonfly.
We don't talk about real life monsters. We talk about the D&D monsters, guys. I'm sorry. We're not really I don't know.
There's also a devil worm, who is a nematode or a roundworm that is a thing. And there's also probably most famously, quite recent to the release of this video, is the hickory-horned devil, because Hank Green of the Vlogbrothers released a video about this little creature. He's a very striking-looking creature, and
very
supposedly
much so, yeah.
He's completely harmless. Like, he just has all of those spikes and spines and dangerous-looking colors because he's absolutely huge. He's supposedly about the size of a hot dog, and is, completely safe.
Looks like a scary Caterpie from
it
Pokemon.
Does. Caterpie during
scary.
his punk phase.
Yeah, a very scary Caterpie. That's a very, very cool looking.
Right, they're super cool.
Yeah,
there's a lot of very cool looking caterpillars out there, and he would be quite welcome among the carrion crawlers, I'd say.
God, I wish I would. There's a lot of cool looking bugs, but I just hate
really,
bugs,
really
so
are.
I really shouldn't. I don't like looking them up.
Yeah, so I'll stop with that guy.
It's alright.
He's huge because he turns into a regal moth, which during the video that I watched with Hank Green, he explained that they are so big because they grow about 1,000 times their own size from when they hatch from their eggs.
Oh God, I hate moths.
And when they convert into a moth, the moth is of the family Saturniidae or Saturnidae, and they don't have mouths. So they can't breathe or eat, and so they die within a week.
Wow.
Which is, I'm sure, some good news to you. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
You're probably glad for that. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't want them to, I feel bad. I don't want them to die horribly, but...
Well, they don't. They just die, and that's fine.
Dies. Usually moths and butterflies die in a day or something.
Yeah, they have a pretty short lifespan typically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the 4 devil-themed insects that I could find. He's a caterpillar. He's not really an insect, but no, it's not explicitly said that he's insectoid. We just kind of put that on the devil. He doesn't even have 6 limbs, so he's not an insect at all. Never mind. Delete this whole section, Tim.
Yeah, delete it all. No, Tim, you are excellent at just podcast fluff. This is great stuff for the episode.
Thank you.
You're devil themed insects. Let's give the listeners a couple of them. Because it could spawn a couple of inspiration for people who are listening to this.
Like, looking it up, I definitely got inspiration for this because we'll get into it later in the episode, because this is just the real world history. So we'll not get into our sparks of inspiration from this guy quite yet. But also there's as you discovered, a Bulgarian ice hockey team called the Ice Devils.
I looked up Ice Devils and it was one of the only things that was in D&D that came up. So there we go. Go Ice Devils, guys.
Go Ice Devils. I was actually in Sofia, Bulgaria for a concert last year, so there you go.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
small
you're telling me that.
connection.
You're telling me that story. It was hilarious.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Also, in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro is also known as the Mountain of Cold Devils. So there's another potential little bit of inspiration for you. How about that?
Yeah, maybe you can have in your mountainous region just a couple of these guys just hanging around and throw them into the random encounter table if you so have one.
So there you go. Fantastic little bit of real world stuff regarding ice devils and insects and insect devil crossover and all that kind of good stuff that you need inspiration for D&D original ideas. So there you go. That's our gift to you guys.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for that. That is
You're very
good
welcome.
to hear. That sounds good, Tim. Let's have a little read of what says here in the 5th edition book about the Ice Devil, or the
Go for it.
Gelugon, or the Gelugon.
The jelly gum.
The Jellygon, or the Gellyjon, or the Jelly...
The jealous John.
I'm just phoning it in at this point, guys. No, I'm not. Okay, so Ice Devil. Found most commonly on the cold layers of Stygia and Cania, Ice Devils serve as commanders of the infernal armies of the Nine Hells, tormenting lesser devils as an outlet of their anger and resentment. Coveting the power of the pit fiend superiors, Ice Devils worked ceaselessly towards promotion, slaughtering the enemies of the Nine Hells and claiming as many souls as they can for the Archdevil Masters. Resembling a giant bipedal insect, an Ice Devil had clawed hands and feet, powerful mandibles, and a long tail covered in razor-sharp spikes. Some carry barbed spears whose icy touch can render a foe all but helpless in combat.
Dang, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, so these guys are a greater devil, right? Is that correct?
Yes. They're a greater one. They're our third greater devil that we've come across. The only one left is the Pit Fiend, which is the big bad.
Yes, so these guys are, because they are a greater devil, they're kind of, I'd say, a bit of a head honcho in the Hells when you come to your devil's armies, I guess. So it says here they are the commanders and they work towards promotion. They are always working hard, but a lot of devils seem to work hard. That seems to be kind of a running theme of these devils, is that they are hard workers. Absolutely. And they want to help the devil company, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, giving them the title of commander is a little lower than some of the other ones, I think. So they're the commanders of the armies as opposed to like generals or kind of centurion symbols or statuses.
Yeah.
But it says that he covets the power of the pit fiend superiors, so they're like giving him a sin that he does, I suppose, because he's a devil. He covets the power of his pit fiend superiors, but they are also greater devils, so I presume that just means he covets their power, not necessarily their status.
Yeah.
Because the status of both of them is just greater devil, and I had a look back and it said that only the archdevils can promote a devil from one form to another, and I looked into it again, and it's they do legitimately just change from one form into another, and a supposedly short painful process, but you turn from a lemur into an imp or something else, but the transformation is legitimately from one consistent form to another, which I thought was kind of cool. I thought that the devils would be slightly different to the demons. I think I've probably said otherwise in previous episodes, but I think it's cool I think it's not cool that they didn't distinguish the devils from the demons by saying that the devils have a consistent form until like they die and then their soul is reevaluated or something, instead of the demons thing, which is they just get promoted and then transform.
Yeah.
So a little bit of creativity there. Maybe could have taken them a little further, but I think they probably had a pretty cool idea with the demons already.
Yeah, I would have personally liked if a lemur got promoted, then it just becomes like a bigger, badder looking lemur, or like an ice devil. When it was lesser, it would just be kind of a smaller looking ice devil, and now this is like a greater looking one. And just literally just transformations and making it look bigger and badder as it goes. But I guess that's just kind of hard to do in D&D, maybe in the game, just for a game design style of it, where you can't make lesser forms of every single devil, or they just didn't have time or something. Maybe
possible.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just talking.
No, that's cool. I think it's a cool idea. I like that. Like, you could have this guy could be a commander of lesser ice devils, and that could be a cool little section. Like the horned devil of the last episode are these flying guys, so you could have a flying troop, whereas if he's commanding another subset of the lesser devils, his flight isn't going to do him anything other than being able to hop around his little century of underlings. Whereas if he's in command of a set of other horned devils, they're all going to be able to fly. So that makes most sense to me, because he'll be more effective as a commander of a flight squadron than he will be of a ground squadron, because he's slower than everyone else as well, the horned devil. So having consistent theming, I suppose, throughout your army, like in a Warhammer army or something, would probably be more fitting, I think, than what they kind of came up with. But as you say, it's like short time, didn't have the time to expand too far onto it, but also trying to keep a consistent theme, because that can get out of hand.
Yeah, that's just a speculation. Yeah.
But
like, if I was to make a promote, because it says the Ice Devils are always looking for a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to make a promoted Ice Devil, I wouldn't just make it a Pit Fiend or something, or else I'll just make it a bigger, badder Ice Devil, just for, I guess I kind of much prefer when things are still the same, but they have worked harder and are now stronger,
Yeah, and then like in Stygia, supposedly the cold section of the Nine Hells, he's not going to be any use as a pit fiend. So if he has built his way up through Stygia, it's probably better to keep him there, because he's familiar with the cold, and they'll be most useful in a cold environment if they break through to the material plane. So why change his stripes? Why not just keep him as a more powerful Ice Devil? Give him a bigger spear and a bigger tail.
Give him 2 spears.
Get out.
All right, that's fine. Okay, sure. I'm the one with the ideas, though.
You're the ideas guy. Shit.
I'm I'm ideas man. No. Yeah, definitely. That's cool.
So that's the Ice Devil.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Shall we jump into a little bit of meat and potatoes?
Let's do it, man.
Let's go. Woo! Here we are.
Right about now. Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. Funk Soul Brother. Right about now. The Funk Soul Brother.
Ice Devil. Large Fiend. Devil. Lawful Evil. Armor class 18, which is his natural armor. Hit points 180, which is 19d10 plus 76. Woo. His speed is 40 foot, and he doesn't have any extracurricular activities that he can do in that regard. His strength is 21, dexterity 14, constitution 18, intelligence 18, wisdom 15, and charisma 18. So nice little stats there, with his 1 in strength being slightly higher. Saving throws, dexterity plus 7, constitution plus 9, wisdom plus 7, and charisma plus 9. Damage resistances, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks not made with silvered weapons. Damage immunities, cold, fire, and poison. Condition immunities, poisoned. Senses, blind sight 60 foot, dark vision 120 foot, and a passive perception of 12. In languages, he speaks Infernal and telepathy up to 120 foot. And his challenge rating is 14, or 11,500 experience points to keep in your back pocket for later.
So, damage immunities and condition immunities and resistances are all pretty much similar.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny that it's cold, makes sense. He's an Ice Devil. That's the one different thing. Cold damage, of course, makes sense. But he's still immune to fire as well, which I guess this is just me playing a lot of Pokemon in my life. But you think you might have a little bit of not an immunity to fire.
What we're telling you, wizards, is you've made an invincible Pokemon here. There's no way around it.
Exactly.
Immune to cold and fire.
You think that if you show your players an Ice Devil, they would be like, let's use some fire, because fire melts ice. And then you think that they wouldn't be immune to it, because immune is like just not being like regular damage is fine, but being immune is pretty strange,
That's robbing you of a potential tool that you thought you could use effectively, which
exactly,
that's a logical step to be able to take. So I don't see why they would have done that, unless they're trying to say, like, because this guy is challenge rating 14, higher up than the Horned Devil and the Aaron, that he's basically next level, essentially.
Yeah.
Like his stat line, I think, his stat line isn't as good as the Horned Devil, and a little better than the Erinyes, but he's still like a contender. Basically, they want to throw you something tricky to fight. So that seems like what they've done.
It seems that way, but it's just, imagine showing your players this thing, an Ice Devil, and you say, no, fire doesn't work at all. It's kind of strange to me, but I guess maybe it made sense to them when they were making it. Maybe because everything else they're from the Hells, so it's always on fire in the Hells, and they wanted to make sure like fire doesn't do anything to them. I don't know, maybe they thought about this. It was strange to me when I saw that. But let's keep going. Devil's Sight. Magical darkness doesn't impede the devil's dark vision, and magic resistance. The devil has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. So, good abilities, devil abilities, if you have been listening to the series so far.
Yes. Actions. He has a multi-attack. The devil makes 3 attacks. 1 with its bite, 1 with its claws, and 1 with its tail. The bite is a melee weapon attack with +10 to hit, reach 5 foot, 1 target, and a hit is 12, a 2d6 plus 5, piercing damage, +10, a 3d6, cold damage. Nice, that's a hefty old punch.
Yeah.
Or bite. Claws, melee weapon attack, +10 to hit, reach 5 foot, 1 target, hit, 10, 2d4 plus 5, slashing damage, +10, 3d6, cold damage. And a tail attack, which is a melee weapon attack, +10 to hit, reach 10 foot, 1 target, hit is 12, a 2d6 plus 5, bludgeoning damage, +10, a 3d6, cold damage.
So, wow, with that cold damage, it seems to pack a lot of damage to it.
Yeah. In a single turn, it can churn out 64 damage, I think, if it just does its multi-attack thing, which is pretty cool. And it's flavorful with the cold damage, and he has piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning throughout, so he's an all-rounder, it seems. Unless you go up against someone who is also immune to cold. Then he just does 34 damage.
Yeah, which is not a whole lot if you're level 14.
Oh, yeah, that's not a huge amount.
Nah.
I mean, significant, but whatevs.
So we got the Wall of Ice, which is a special ability, special action that it has. Wall of Ice, recharge 6. The devil magically forms an opaque wall of ice on a solid surface it can see within 60 feet of it. The wall is 1 foot thick and up to 30 feet long and 10 feet high. Or its hemispherical dome is up to 20 feet in diameter. Oof, a lot of maths you have to do there. Or, I know, a lot of maths for me anyway. When the wall appears, each creature in its space is pushed out of it by the shortest route. The creature chooses which side of the wall it ends up on, unless the creature is incapacitated. The creature then makes a DC 17 dexterity saving throw, taking 35 or 10d6 cold damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful save.
The wall lasts for 1 minute, or until the devil is incapacitated or dies. The wall can be damaged and breached. Each 10-foot section has AC 5, 30 hit points, vulnerability to fire damage, there it is, and immunity to acid, cold, necrotic, poison, and psychic damage. If a section is destroyed, it leaves behind a sheet of frigid air in the space the wall occupied. Whenever a creature finishes moving through the frigid air on a turn, willingly or otherwise, the creature must make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw, taking 17, 5d6, cold damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. The frigid air dissipates when the rest of the wall vanishes. That is quite flavorful.
That's an essay there.
Sure is.
So what's going on there? We have Wall of Ice. It is a literal wall of ice, appears
within 60 foot,
up to 30 feet long, 10 feet high.
If you are standing where the wall appears, you have to make a DC 17 saving throw or take 10d6 cold damage.
Makes sense. He would want to put it where you are already, so to do some damage on you because it's an attack. So and after that, the wall lasts for 1 minute or until the devil is incapacitated.
And when you destroy a section of the wall after hitting it on an AC 5 of 30 hit points, it leaves behind a frigid air, which is almost a separate ability, that would actually be a cool separate ability. You could give that to them where they just blanket an area in frigid air, which is pretty heavy as an individual ability, since it's a DC 17 Constitution saving throw, or you take 5d6 cold damage. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There's a whole lot going on with that wall of ice.
Yeah.
On the recharge 6, which means if each round you roll a d6, and on a 6 he regains the ability.
Yeah.
Which means they're expecting that he's going to last at least long enough to do this, maybe twice. So 6 rounds.
Yeah, usually when you see like recharge and it's just one number, they kind of expect you to like, you're going to do it once, definitely. And so if you're using the Ice Devil, use this ability, and like it's going to be done. You're going to just assume that's going to be done once. So
yeah, which I think is fair. That's a pretty powerful ability that's going to change the face of the battle that you're doing. It's going to change the arena, it's going to change the terrain, it's going to make difficult terrain essentially, and it's going to make a space that you basically can't move through that you thought you would be able to. So it's going to upset whatever tactics you had. Not that many players tend to have tactics in fights like this, but whatever tactics they would have would be potentially thwarted or harried.
But even adding a bit of this into the combat, just it adds a little bit of chaos to it, where he would just spawn a wall and you would be like, I have to either go around it. Maybe he has other minions on his side where they're kind of guarding the other sides of the walls. Maybe he's thinking strategically of it, because kind of being more of a commander of the battle. You can kind of use it to your advantage with this. But first of all, what do you think of this stat block, Tim?
I think it's cool. I think it's consistent, and like you said with the cold fire immunity, I think that's strange, but also relatively just trying to be consistent with what it's been working with.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I like it. It makes him powerful up close, and it gives him a bit of distance ability, and he has the kind of middle range with his tail attack, so he's a pretty solid boy. I'd say it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, I get you.
What do you think?
I completely agree with the fire. It was kind of weirded me out at the start there, but some of my favorite monster blocks in D&D are the ones that kind of have the one thing it does, the one special thing it does, and then you just kind of do that, and that's all you have to do for the fight. Like, he has, multi-attack 3 attacks, and they do extra cold damage, but the thing you want to do at least once in the fight is the wall of ice,
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it. It's a good block.
It also has a variant.
That is true.
With the Ice Devil's Spear. Some Ice Devils have the following action options. Multi-attack. The devil makes 2 attacks, one with its spear and one with its tail. Ice Spear. Melee weapon attack plus 10 to hit, reach 10 foot. 1 target. Hit 14, 2d8 plus 5, piercing damage, plus 10, 3d6, cold damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw, or for 1 minute, its speed is reduced by 10 feet. It can take either an action or a bonus action on each of its turns, not both, and it can't take reactions. The target can repeat saving throws at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success.
Ooh.
That was a bit of a mouthful.
It was, yeah.
Speed is reduced by 10 feet, and it can't take actions. It can either take an action or a bonus action, so it's basically slowed, it seems.
Yeah. So I think what's this trying to say, that it's kind of making you icy. It makes the player, whoever gets hit by it, kind of almost frozen, and that's the flavor, the lore reason why this is happening to him. So but it's a strange way to say it. Speed is reduced by 10, but it's it's cool.
It's not as dramatic as I was expecting it to be, because in the description that we gave our listeners earlier, it said that some carry barbed spears whose icy touch can render a foe all but helpless in combat.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would leave you all but helpless.
Yeah, maybe you can say that it's a challenge rating 14. So if you're fighting it, if you're going with that kind of guideline of it, then you would be fighting with level 14 or even level 13 for a bit of a challenge character. So maybe at that point, your player characters are already strong and already the best of men of the world, basically. But you can just say in game that if he hits anyone with this ice spear, they're rendered helpless. But if they hit your player characters, who should be around over level 10 at least, then this happens to them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I have no idea if that's what their intent was with that. I understand.
No,
I get
that's cool. That's smart. I didn't think of it like that. I was just thinking purely in the context of the fight with him. But yeah, that makes sense, because level 14 is you are a demigod almost.
Yeah,
You're like
yeah.
saving the world and gallivanting and planar shifting on a whim and
Yeah.
teleporting all around the world. So yeah, fair.
You're doing that?
That's a good idea. Yeah, every day.
You just do that? All right, cool. Awesome.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I understand, like, it is kind of strange he doesn't kind of say that, but
Yeah.
it's a kind of an abstract concept to put onto the page, if you get me.
Yeah.
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 Okay, next part.
Shall we get on with
Next part.
dessert?
Yep,
Dessert
next part.
time?
Go. I'm just man, just keep it going.
It's already going.
I got no time for this, man. All right, just
No time. Gotta go.
So here we are. Dessert time.
Here we are.
Excellent.
Matrix room.
Matrix room. Yep, sounds good. We got 4 level 14 classic D&D, the classic D&D party. I guess like a fighter, a spellcaster, a cleric, whatever you want, man. Just throw it in there.
Yep.
But yeah, 4 level 14 characters. How's this fight going to go?
I think it's going to be pretty entertaining. I think it's going to be a consistent fight because I don't think this guy's going to fight by himself typically, but backed into a corner, I think he's still going to put up a considerable fight. Like he can put up his wall of ice and section off the party even, I'd say, because even if people choose the directions that they all jump in, you can like put the walls around them and like snake it around them and make a tiny little maze, because 60 foot is a considerable distance for any kind of arena, really.
Yeah.
Because like most arenas that I've kind of constructed wouldn't be more than like 60 foot across at the narrowest point, so you could build an entire wall across it and then just wait for them to smash through a single section and then bottleneck them there. Or he could build his dome and then he could do the same. He'd be safe from all sides, unless they obviously go around and fight him on different fronts, but then they're splitting themselves up and giving this guy a potential advantage. But I think it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
Because he's a good combat boy and he has this cool ice wall ability that he has.
And I don't think
about
you
you?
said this for the other devils, but the magic resistance would probably help against any wizards.
Oh, yeah.
Just any spells, really. But every devil has that. Or most devils anyway have that ability.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'd say that would up the challenge rating anyway of the fight, because advantage on saving throws against spells, that can be pretty big.
Yeah, that's very significant. Because they've lived in this magical environment or something, however you want to lore it. My brain is trying to tell me, make a lore reason.
You don't gotta lore everything, man. You don't gotta.
No, you don't.
Maybe you do, but like, you're right. But just for the show, this is Matrix room. Don't lore it, man.
Yes, this is Matrix room. This is just suddenly a party has appeared in a room that is infinite with this blue ice devil insect chap.
But even though I said that, let's just lore it for 1 second. Ice wall.
Sure.
You can just lock them. You can lock the party inside a room and have like a fight to the death with them. That's awesome. Where you just use it for that and just like make an arena for the fight. Really, if you just want to go with that angle of it, which can be very cool. Where like there's no escape for the moment.
This guy's, I think, the most intelligent of our devils so far, which is pretty cool. So you could give him some real tactical chops if you wanted to. Like you could have him fight hand to hand for a little bit, make the glass cannons and the wizards separate themselves, and then he can call a dome of ice over the wizards or sorcerers and magic-y casters and separate them and then deal with what he's dealing with now. So he can very successfully like segment your party, I think, which would probably be this guy's, apart from his visage, his most frightening trait.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like looking at the pages here, he is the most intelligent devil other than the Pit Fiend for, obvious reasons. That's the big bad.
Makes sense.
But yeah, you can definitely go that angle with it where he's a commander, maybe like a tactician, maybe a just smarter foe, really.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of like smart foes, I guess, in this show before.
Yeah.
But it's never really on the the stat block of how you play it that way. But if you just kind of step back and just think about the fight yourself and say, oh, okay, this is a smart enemy that I'm going to be using against my players now. How can I use that against the players? How can I play this monster to be a smart tactician almost?
Yeah.
It's kind of, you just have to stand back and think of ideas for that. And do we have any ideas for that, Tim?
For that, I mean, the separation and the segmenting is probably the most consistent one that he could do by himself.
Yeah.
But also, I'd probably give him a climb speed since he has his claws and he is an insect boy and he's all spiky all over. And I'd say you could build walls vertically as well as horizontally and give yourself some verticality, which is kind of the bane of most DMs' experience, making the fight 3D as opposed to 2D. But I think tactically that would give him some advantage, and he could like stand on top of like an overhang that he may have built out of ice and an ice wall to give himself some breathing room, and maybe he'll like pop a potion or something or go into a second form. Maybe he transforms into a different kind of insect, which is going to run into my ideas for him later. But I think giving him some more movement, because he has a 40-foot movement as is, and his dexterity is 14, which means he can jump, I think, about 20 foot from a standstill, which is pretty impressive straight upwards. And like, he has the speed, he has the dexterity, but he also has the strength. He's just an all-rounder.
Yeah.
My gosh, he's incredible. But yeah,
He's so handsome as well.
his mother tells him he's handsome every day.
Every day, yeah. Maybe you can go with the variant, instead of a spear, maybe you can have like ice picks, almost 2 of them, and he can, or like ice climber picks, where you can
nice
have almost like a climbing speed with it.
That would be cool.
That can be kind of a cool idea. Because I kind of picture him fighting in a cold environment, either be on a mountain of some sort, or if you're doing like a mountainy adventure, or in a freezer, I guess that could be, or maybe he's like, if he has like going with our devil ideas we've had in the last episodes, where maybe a devil took over a town. If you so wish to with this devil, maybe his lair is just colder. Maybe just like, you know, ups the thermostat on the room, or I don't know, cast a spell to make it cold all the time.
Yeah,
in the place.
like
so
his frigid air thing. Like, he puts up walls and then smashes them down and uses the ice to like cool the room or whatever.
Exactly.
That'd be kind of cool.
And maybe your players just can't handle the cold. Maybe it's a very bad environment, and it just makes the fight even harder. He's got a weapon, so spear. That's the one it has already. The ice picks, maybe a big ice pick. What kind of weapon's going to use? Actually, I like this idea of different weapons.
Yeah, I think the spear is a good idea. I think giving him like akimbo ice picks, basically going haywire with those, would be kind of cool. Maybe I'd break up the damage into 2, although that wouldn't make his ice ability consistent. I don't know. The ice picks is a really solid idea.
Yeah, that's I guess if you're going with an ice devil themed adventure and you just want to like change the stat block a bit, maybe.
Yeah, different ice devils that have kind of variants visually as well as characteristically.
Yeah, these guys are very strong though, so I don't know how you use a lot of them. But
yeah,
and I don't know. But you know, you guys are smart. You can think of something.
Yeah, and there's resources online for different ideas, like Creature Club. Woo.
Like Creature Club, yeah. So that's why we should be giving the ideas right now. Crap.
Oh, we are. You did.
Yeah.
The ice picks is a really solid idea, I think. When I imagine like an icy wasteland, I don't just imagine like, I mean, yeah, there's tundras, but there's also these like pillars of ice left and right, and like cracks in the ice. So because this guy doesn't have a climbing speed, I think that kind of takes away from his ability in an area like that, because I would definitely give him a climbing speed because of all of that. Like, he wouldn't live in an ice tundra or on top of a glacier and just do nothing. He would be an expert at moving around his own terrain. So if somebody has like an ice slick around, like maybe he isn't affected by frozen water that just makes difficult terrain for your characters, who when they move over it, if they move more than 5 feet, they fall prone on a DC 12 dexterity saving throw or something.
And it'll be very wacky and hilarious that they fall over and fall on their butt or something. But I was actually going to go with that exact idea. It's going to suggest that maybe his arena is a ice rink of a battlefield where everyone's skiing around, but your players don't have skis, but this guy can move no problem, but you guys are like sliding around trying to fight this thing.
It's gonna be like a Pokemon or a Zelda ice maze where
Exactly,
as soon as you step on the ice, you continue going all the way to the other side.
I feel like I've done an adventure before or a counter before on ice.
Yeah.
Maybe Daniel did one where he did something like that, where if you do move a lot, you fall prone, or you have to make a check to, or if you fall prone, something like that. But it sounds familiar. But maybe he can use that in his icy lair. He would kind of use the ice to his advantage because
I think we're talking about his lair now, and like there are lots of icy ideas that you could throw around, like the stalactites.
Yes,
hanging from the ceiling. He like stamps his foot in a particular spot, and you like cause stalactites to fall out of the sky.
That's lair actions, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Or you can stamp his foot in a different spot, and he summons a stalagmite from the ground. And
then maybe he stamps them both at the same time, and they columns for him.
Yeah.
I did geography.
Geology 101, yeah. I think there are a huge amount of things that you can do with ice. Like, because he is a devil, I'd say he has some devilish essence, and I'd say he could melt sections of it as well with his like devilish heat inside of him, so he can go inside the walls, and maybe they're not as thick as people think they are in certain sections. Like, you can have a wall around your encounter, but maybe he shifts through a section and then it freezes solid behind him again, and then he appears around the back of your characters and around the backs of your PCs, and gives him a poke in the butt with his shiny new spear that he got in his bedroom.
Oof. That hurts.
It would. Getting poked in the butt by anything tends to hurt.
By just anything, yeah. Yeah, actually, that's kind of a cool idea that you're going with, where he has like almost a devilish heat. Maybe he's kind of like a Remoraz, which we will get to when we get to ours. But where they're ice themed bug monsters, but they have like a furnace inside their belly. So basically, so they kind of melt through ice. So maybe just because he's a devil, he can do something like that, where he can just melt through ice and almost have like a burrow speed with that. So that's another form of speed.
So he already has 40-foot moving speed, and we've given him a climbing speed, and now we're giving him a burrowing speed.
Yeah.
Maybe the burrowing speed, and then in brackets ice only.
Ice only. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a very interesting idea, but that's cool. That's a lot of cool encounter ideas. Do we have any adventure ideas for him? What kind of ice devil themed adventures we can do?
Well, the part of history that sparked my inspiration was knowing that Kilimanjaro was known as the Mountain of Cold Devils.
Yeah.
And I'd say that maybe within whatever context you're using them, make their source or their church, their pillar, their primary place be a great mountain within Stygia. And maybe there's a great mountain in Stygia, and then there are lesser mountains in all of the other hells where you can promote your lesser devils to ice devils so that you can use them, but there is a primary place in Stygia where these guys come from, and there's like an ice devil guard and stuff like that. Or you can have suddenly in the material plane there is a mountain which used to be a volcano or something, and people are like, oh, that's the old mountain, but then suddenly during the summer the cap of it at the very top starts turning snowy, and then the snow kind of drifts down the mountain, and people are like, why is it getting so cold? And then you'll suddenly have this outlet for ice devils on the material plane.
Yeah.
Maybe as part of like an elemental upheaval on the material plane, like having this be the hot's turning cold. So like that volcano turns into an ice mountain.
That's really cool, actually. That's like Zelda, where the world, like the area's gone weird, where it used to be warm, but now it's freezing. So go investigate the mountain and see what's going on. And then it's just evil is up there. So maybe the source is devilry, like the ice devil. Maybe you can have, because it's a level 14, maybe that's the boss. Maybe like one of them is the boss. And the adventure is you guys just climbing up this large, like Everest maybe sized mountain, and that's the adventure. Like that's a cool idea.
Making your way to the top, making your way downtown,
walking fast,
faces past,
and I'm homebound.
I think we made this joke in the last episode as well. I don't remember the context, but I feel like we did.
Dude, seriously, if people are still listening to this show, then thank you so much for
Yeah.
bearing with us. No, that's a cool idea. I like that.
Thank you.
Mountainy adventure. I don't know if
I mean, it's like I think it would be part of a broader campaign. Like maybe your party starts near the bottom of this mountain, and down this mountain there's suddenly an avalanche of snow out of season, and it destroys the city, and it means that your players get wrenched away from their hometown suddenly. Maybe at the end of your original low-level campaign,
yeah,
where you end up as like you have your own house, and then you take it away from them like a good DM, because you have to give and take away.
and to take away everything that they have.
Yeah, kill their entire families.
Yeah, no, if they have anyone in their backstory, then you just kill them, just
Yep.
straight away. You know, that's how you DM, man. No, we'll do whatever you want, guys. No, but seriously though, because we're like, when we get a monster like this, we don't really do campaign ideas, so we do adventure ideas for either parts of campaigns, maybe like part 1s or part 2s or part 3s of your overall adventure, or not adventure. I just said it's not adventure. It's just a big story, I guess, you know, if you are doing one of those, or if you want to do like a 1-shot or a 2-shot or a small adventure, then that's what we want. Because it's hard to do like let's do an Ice Devil themed campaign, because I don't think anyone will want to do a Ice Devil themed campaign.
Yeah, I mean, that's because they are part of Devils.
Yeah.
We've had a little bit of a tricky time coming up with campaigns or broader story arcs with these guys, because it all just ties into a Devil Uprising.
Yeah.
Unless you want to just use this stat block as like the King Ice monster, insectoid ice
King
boy.
Ice.
King Ice, that's me.
That's his name.
Hello.
That's the name of my next big bad.
I will show you the ways.
King Ice monster insect big bad boy. Is that what you said?
Yep. That's what he's going to be. And then you can separate him completely from the devils and just have his mountain appearing just be his thing. Because it's a magical world. Magic happens everywhere. Elemental stuff just goes a little haywire sometimes because the gods were fighting, or I don't know, something went wrong in the world, and now there's suddenly this cold mountain.
The gods left the immersion on for a bit too long or something.
They left the freezer open.
Yeah, they left the freezer open.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like that, Tim. Quite a bit.
Thanks. Yeah.
I might do it right now. I might just do the campaign right now. Roll a
cool.
character for me, please? A level 14 character.
Yeah, sure. Okay, 17 to...
I love that you have dice right there at the
Yeah,
ready
of course.
for this.
Always.
We did not edit that comedic timing, guys.
Yeah. You have any other ideas for these boys? These ice insects?
Let's have a look. So there's like a mountain adventure or a
cool encounter. The boss fight I think we came up with is pretty cool.
Maybe actually he can make a ice maze of some sort, like a small maze that you have to kind of get through, and then he's in there somehow.
Like an isolated ice devil just builds a maze in Stygia or on the material plane or something.
Yeah,
and people have been disappearing into it.
Exactly. Maybe you can kind of use the wall of ice in that way, where you can he made his lair in that, and it's very labyrinthian in nature.
Yeah,
and maybe he's just a butcher, man. He just keeps his meat in a freezer, and he makes it.
If you want to keep going with the dinner themed, the like food themed guy, this guy could be the fridge.
Yes, he's the fridge.
He freezes everything. He keeps vegetables and fruits frozen in the freezer section, in the freezer aisle.
Yeah,
of the supermarket encounter that is the Devils.
And this devil miniseries that we're doing, this devil series in general, has just been it's been stretching us as Creature Club guys, because we're treading the same ground every episode now, I think.
Well, I think it's callbacks. It's making it consistent, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if people listen to this as a whole, they're going to be able to appreciate the previous jokes, because I think most people will, unless they can't come up with something and then they search the internet for, what can I do with an ice devil? And then maybe they somehow stumble across our post.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter,
what can we do? Obvious one, take a spear, and you can do the spear cold action that it has on the variant Ice Devil spear.
Yes.
Very easy stuff. right there. What else we can do? Something a bit more abstract and outside the box, though. What can we do with the Ice Devil?
Outside of the box.
Maybe something that gives you, because I don't think a wall of ice isn't really a spell. I think I know there's like a wall of fire. That's the one. Oh, actually, it might actually be a spell. Never mind. Create a wall of ice. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Is it the exact same?
Yeah, it's the exact same. It's pretty much the exact six level evocation. Has the same AC 12, 30 hit points. This is a bit different, really.
Okay. Does it have the like destroy the sections and it becomes cold?
Yeah.
It does? Wow.
No. Yes, actually it does. Yeah, sorry, yeah, it does.
Oh, dang.
Yes, it does.
I was going to say, if it doesn't, then we can like remove like some part of him, like his heart or something, and imbue it into a pendant, and then it like ups the ability of your ice wall. But if it doesn't, then dang. Maybe
you just get you can make either out of his heart or, as you said, into like an amulet or something like that, its essence into some sort of magical item that gives you a once a day wall of ice, ability, or maybe it's a recharge where you have to recharge it, and if you get a D6, you get it the next day, something like that. But just pretty much get that where you have a spell, but because there's a lot of item where you get like spells in the item and you have to recharge it,
Yeah.
I know they have appeared in D&D before.
I mean, typically the items that you use as a player characters would have charges, like specific sets of charges, as opposed to a recharge. But maybe you could use, like, flip the recharge thing on its head, where you use this item and you roll your attack and you roll your damage, and then you separately roll a D6, and if you get a 6, you do a little extra damage or something like that.
Okay.
Like you wave your magical spear a little extra swiftly or something.
Yeah.
And you do a little extra damage. Super obvious one. Turn his chitinous hide into cold resistant armor.
Ooh, yeah.
Or maybe even cold immune. Because at level 14, that kind of stuff starts popping up.
That would be very cool. Just a cold immunity and just say temperature immunity where you don't I know cold temperature doesn't really come up in game because you don't really ever think about it, but like to say, no, yeah, you don't worry about temperatures in cold climates at all in this armor. So
it's like a good insulating coat.
Yeah, because it has an immunity to fire, there's like a bit of a thermal armor to it because it's a devil and it has a bit of heat to it,
Yeah, maybe because it's still imbued with a little bit of the hellish power that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's still got a little bit of that, so it keeps you toasty.
Yeah, so maybe the armor, actually, you can do the armor and it gives you that wall of ice ability if you do it right.
That's hardcore. You're going to have to bring it up to a serious smithy enchanty boy, and they'll have to work on it for a while, but before any big final fight with a potential pit fiend or even with an archdevil, maybe you'll have your super immune armor.
Yeah.
If you have the foresight.
But, like you're level 14 or around that, you're not going to be that for a long time, and you're probably not going to fight too many cold based enemies after that. And you're going to get, as if we're describing it well, you're going to get like a once a day or 2 a day wall of ice ability. It's not going to be that much in the grand scheme of things. So I think once you're at that level of like past level 13 or past level 12 or something, you can start giving your players all these inverted commas overpowered sounding items and abilities, because it doesn't matter. They are supposed to be super powerful at that moment, and you can give them the really cool items at that moment. So yeah, go for it. Use this.
Cool. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Ice Devil is honestly, I think, a pretty cool devil. The block is simple, but there's a lot of things you can do with it there, and I think it'll be a pretty satisfying fight if one was to go up against it.
One of my final thoughts would be that maybe you could vary the visuals of it. Like when I looked up all the devil stuff about the insects, there's lots of different types of looking insects. So you can have one that looks like the one in the book, and you can have one that looks like the walking stick, the two-striped walking stick, or even look like a giant caterpillar.
Yeah. Imagine maybe give it a fly speed and have it like a dragonfly, like the devil's something or other that I said at the start of the episode. But yeah, give it maybe, because we said climbing speeds, burrow speeds, give it a fly speed, give another version of it a fly speed, and you got the whole gang is there. The whole gang's here. So yeah, cool stuff. Go with different kinds of bugs.
I like it.
Yeah, we came up with a couple good ideas there. That's
I think we did.
Not a bad episode of Creature Club there.
Go on, let's pat ourselves on the back there a bit.
Yeah. Don't forget to smash like. if you can, on your
Don't forget to smash your device.
Smash your device, just throw it on the ground and say, I liked that.
Never listen to us again if you like this episode.
Basically.
Decide this is the final episode.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for listening, guys, to Creature Club. If you liked what you listened to, please smash like or whatever the hell you do, as I just said, on your device, or leave a review. That always helps on whatever thing you're doing. And follow us if you haven't already. We are Creature Club Podcast, in case you haven't read what you're listening to. We have a website, creatureclubpodcast.com, where you can see all of our episodes. You can contact us with our little contact us form there. We are always looking for homebrew items to put in a future episode of Homebrew Only. And you can just contact us in general if you just prefer to do so, just to say hello. We always like hearing that. We always like hearing from you guys that you listen to us, and it makes our day whenever we get an email from one of you guys. And if you have sent an email recently, yes, we have read it, and you are amazing, and we love you. So thank you so much. Yeah, we are on Twitter, Creature Club Pod, or at Creature Club Pod, or if you look up Creature Club Podcast, you'll find us there too. We'll come up. We're one of the first ones to come up. We had the logo and everything there. Give us a follow. We are pretty much, we're on Twitter a lot, so if you message us on that, then we'll see it first and we'll message you back. So it's a good way to contact us. It's a pretty good way to do that. Yeah. Anything else, Tim?
No, you fucking nailed it.
Hooray. Wow.
Thanks everyone for listening in to our nice little podcast.
Thank you very much to our little mom and pop podcast. It's not big and corporate.
Is Daniel both the mom and the pop? Because he keeps us in line.
That's true. Very much so.
And we're the unruly children of the podcast.
Oh yeah, that is very true. Smash like if you agree.
Or slap like.
Slap like. Mm-hmm. That's a bit different.
Slice like is another one I've heard.
Slice like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just hungry now. I want a slice of pizza.
I'd love a slice of like.
Yeah, slice of like. Let's get like. What are we talking about? Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. We have been Creature Club. Next episode, we will talk about something else. I have been Mikey.
I have been Tim.
Stay cool. No.